In this video, what you'll see are drawings of the colors in people's energy fields that I drew first before they started wearing a Healing Diamond Pendant, and then about a week later. For those new to my work, this is the template that I'll be using in the drawings that I'm going to show you in a second. But these colors won't be present in the templates I'm using, only the black lines to delineate the layers. Let's look at client number 2. Before wearing a pendant, notice these big pools of color absence, comparing that to these swirls of color. These swirls of color represent movement. There is movement of energy, and that is so important. Movement is life. So the big transformation that happened here was we went from an energy field that was generally sluggish, especially in the causal and mental bodies, here and here. Not so much the emotional body. There are signs of energy movement on this side, not so much this side. Here we have a break in the structure between physical and energetic right here. Here we have a nice delineation. The orange is in the superphysical, but not in the emotional. Here, the orange and yellow very clearly inside the causal area, and the yellow here. And so that shows that there's pretty good structure here, but a lot of stagnancy. We see here the aura is revealing red at the crown and at the root, which reveals some polarity imbalance. If there was just purple here and just red here, that's what we're looking for. And again, not every healthy aura is going to show us the crown and root vortexes. It only does that to let me know and to let the client know through this graphic representation that yes, we are drawing heaven energy in through the crown and earth energy up from the ground. And this is how well that is working. Okay, so after a week, lots of energy flow, but big areas where information just isn't there. And it's here before, but it just shifted to here. That is not unusual to shift. It just means that things are beginning to move. Here, these circular or somewhat rounded areas are evidence of stagnancy. Here we see things are moving, these long tendrils of color. Color is moving. One of the big things that I have learned is that the colors in our aura aren't stagnant. They aren't stuck, but they're moving constantly. In a healthy body, they are continuously flowing and moving, and maybe we think something and suddenly the colors move because what we have thought about requires color to support us to manifest those thoughts. So something else that's noteworthy, let's look at the emotional layer of the aura here. We have a lot of blue. Well, there's some green, but a lot of blue among this pink. So the pink is telling me that the emotional aura is being nourished, but the emotions are being crowded out by thoughts. So I would imagine that this person's thoughts are very much encroaching on how they feel. In fact, to the point where, considering how much blue is here, their emotions might even be ruled by their thoughts. Very difficult for this person to get a true reading on how they truly feel. And yet here, look at how the emotional body wearing the pendant has literally booted out that blue. It said to the mental body, go out of here, go where you belong. And look at all the blue that has found its place in the mental body. Nice delineation between the mental layer and the causal layer, pretty much, except for this orange, letting us know that causal influences, you might say karmic influences, are affecting the mind. Here, they were affecting the superphysical aura as well. Anything that affects the superphysical is also affecting the physical. And yet, here, the emotional body is reclaiming its sovereignty. There is some indigo in here, which has appeared, which is very interesting because that would mean that there are doors opening to the intuitive body to help her understand what's going on with her emotional body. So I think that's super cool. Super physical used to be crowded. Well, we have green and we have this orange. There's some blue. There's some indigo here. Here, this is indigo. This is purple here. So her connection to heaven energy, good at the physical, super physical, not so great here. Interrupted by the emotional body, also interrupted by the mental body. But otherwise, there is a structure, an underlying structure present to enable the crown chakra to be the conduit for heaven energy to get into the body to nourish it. But there are some blockages to work with. Same thing with the root chakra. We see some improvement here. On the before picture, we had the red is broken, just like the purple is broken here. The polarity imbalance resolved itself. That's gone. This has connected here, which is nice. Still, there's a break in this person's ability to receive earth energy. Likely, this is a healing process. The colors have to be reorganized for the next step to occur. Here, looking at the intuitive layer, how interesting it is filled with yellow and indigo. How beautiful is that? So very interesting, the indigo and the yellow filling that intuitive layer. So there's two reasons that come to mind why yellow. One reason is that yellow is a vitalizing color for our skin, and the skin is very protective. It's one of the key purposes of the skin is to keep us protected. The other purpose of yellow is that it is nourishing for the stomach chakra. And the stomach chakra supports our self-identity, our self-esteem, our self-empowerment, our understanding of who we are. What may be happening here is that sense of who am I? And this individual may be very much relying on her intuition to determine who she is, when instead that who am I should be more embodied within a person's being. And from a chakra standpoint, right there at the stomach chakra. So now what's happening in this person's healing journey is that she is relying on her past. Who was I previously to understand who am I now? And that's fine. I mean, the yellow is likely going to be somewhere because it's an important color in the spectrum that feeds us. So none of these locations of yellow is wrong. It's just where the process is happening and the difference of wearing this pendant after 10 days. That's quite remarkable to see how the yellow color has made such a move. And the difference between overall stagnancy to such beautiful movement, that's also really special as well. Another thing that you might notice is that here, the first 3 layers are just filled with color, whereas here, look at all those open spaces. Those open spaces, again, they could be there because there's been so much change just in a week that the energy field just isn't quite sure what color is needed, or it just hasn't processed the colors that it is receiving well enough to communicate it to us. Again, it's not a bad thing. It's just what is. It's how the aura is presenting itself. But what I love is all this movement, beautiful movement here, these threads of energy flows. Yeah, they're here too. See how we have some movement of emotional energy trying to maybe overcome that mental energy. But here, the emotional body is free of all that.